Hello everybody, Andy here, and it's time to talk about the latest kill team, that is Space Marines, and also, because you know, we can only judge a horse by the races it's run, not available. So in this video I wanted to go over some conversion and proxy ideas for you, starting with the most popular and obvious ones like cool flavors of Marines, you know, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, essentially. But then also look a smidge further afield to see if we can spark some hobbying interest with my own heavily biased concepts. Then I'm also going to pretend that you're mad and are considering just straight up buying the correct models in their full 40k boxes and see what that might do for you in 40k, I guess? I don't know. Don't play 40k though, that's a really boring game. But before all of that, Strike Force Justian should probably define it for you, right? So, it is a great beginner team. None of the ideas I'm about to give you are beginner friendly on the wallet though, so that's kind of my bad. Well, one of them actually. Two of them maybe. But I do want to be I want to very quickly cover proxy and conversion rules to guide you on your own merry way if you're new to the mechanics of Kill Team. Step 1. Anyone telling you proxying or converting is bad is themselves bad. Cool. Step 2. It's all about the theme, okay? If one guy has a big gun and heavy armor, then your proxy should probably have a big gun and heavy armor, but the specific gun kind of doesn't matter. Now the key here is clarity. You don't want your opponent to have to think when they look at your models, okay? So with Strike Force Justian, you want a guy with a heavy melee weapon and strong pistol, okay? That's Justian. Then you want a heavy gunner, then you want a sniper. Guy with a small close combat weapon and small pistol. Then two regular guys with regular guns, one of which has a grenade. Think of the theme that the model you're proxying is trying to represent and lean into it. And that's it, okay? That's your focus. However, step 3, and this part is of course key, to the mechanics of kill teams. This is important. You know, yes, let your creativity flow, but for everyone's sake, like, base size is absolutely 100% mandatory to keep correct, okay? So just make sure it's the correct base and no one's going to give you too much flack for it. Strike Force Justian has a mixture of 40 and 32 mil bases. Justian, Sniper and Gunner are all on 40 mil bases. Everyone else is on a 32 mil base. Honestly, that is the key. Do that and you'll be fine. Now second is height. Now look, a mil or two doesn't really matter when we're discussing verticality. I mean, I'm all for hashtag short kings rise up, although it's kind of the one thing they can't do, so I kind of take that back, I guess. But in general with models, if the height is correct, then the width really won't be too far off. So when I make a proxy, I like to raise the height to be the same as the original model. This is easily done with sheets of 2mm corkboard on your base, or you know, whatever you want if you have other paraphernalia lying around, but corkboard is very simple and easy. And then when it comes to playing that in the game, there's a solid principle of if there is ever any question or close call, if you have the proxied model, you give the advantage to your opponent, okay? You can never benefit from a proxy model. By all means, model your sniper lying down prone, that's super cool. But then, when you draw visibility, you take it from his head, so you can't ever see over anything. But you let your opponent draw visibility as if he's standing up. Simple stuff, okay? Now before we dive into cool proxy ideas, of which I have like 8 or something insane, I'd like to give a quick subscriber-only benefit for those that are subscribed to this channel, and that's right, it is a big circle. Hello. Wow, so unexpectedly wholesome, right in the middle of a sentence there. Wouldn't you have rather that? If you want to qualify for that circle hello in the next video, like, subscribe, leave a comment right now. All that great stuff, you know. For the comment, tell me what your Strike Force Justian proxies are going to be, because I'm excited to see how creative everybody gets with it. And if you really like these immaculate Glass Half Dead vibes, what does that even mean? I don't know. Glass Half Dead, weird name. Consider supporting me on Patreon. You get a cool coloured name in my Discord, access to a members only area there too, and at certain tiers you get like digital goodies like data cards, templates, and my objective marker files to print out for yourself. as well as channel updates, extra unboxings on occasion, also some unedited battle reports. In fact, there's even one up for this team right now. In fact, if you want to see a properly edited battle report for Strike Force Justian, go and check it out on my other channel, Full Scale Wargaming. It's pretty fire, top bands, got to be honest with you. I filmed it and then edited it as a, this is how people really play. So it's not just cut, 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 move, move, move. I've kept it as kind of, here is a discussion. At some point we decide, we talk, can you see it? And then, you know, is this, yeah, it's good. It's a real learn how the game is really played sort of thing, in my opinion, and just a good game, obviously. Okay, anyway, let's smash through the first and easiest and most obvious proxies, right? First one has to be Deathwatch. This team is literally a Deathwatch kill team. I say, stick a Deathwatch shoulder pad on and paint the arm silver and the rest of the armor black, and honestly, you're solid AF, as foretold. Now, this team could be built on the cheap out of just the regular Deathwatch veteran box that has everything you need. Well, you need one extra model, but that's not the point. And obviously, you know, remember to up the base size to 40 where needed, and they're mini marines, so automatically not as cool, but yeah, like easy. Note on the Justian sprues though, if you're considering this, the shoulder pads are molded on, as you can clearly see in my unboxing video, which you've no doubt watched, so it will be easier to buy other models instead of turning the originals into Deathwatch. Just throwing that out there. This will, however, leave you with having to buy 5 boxes to create a 6 model team, which obviously isn't the most economical. Yeah. Next up, Death Guard. You could do this team from a single box of Plague Marines, which might just make this actually the most economical option because it will be cheaper than buying the actual Strike Force Justian models. And it's actually the proxy team I have right here. Haven't quite finished painting them because halfway through I got sent these, so thanks GW for that. So, you know, I got a little bit fancy. My guys aren't just one box of Plague Marines, but you can do it from that. Then, Legion of the Damned. A team that for some insane reason we have not yet been given, to be honest with you. A travesty to the universe of 40k that. And really, I've yet to see Primarisify Damned. There's a squad up on Etsy, but they're, I believe, mini marine size. And I don't know. Either way, cool idea for you to do somehow. Okay, Chaos. Sometimes fanatical zealotry for the Emperor gets boring and you want to lean into your own vices instead of someone else's vices. So yeah, Chaos. So your Intercessors and Assault Intercessors are super easy. They're just regular Chaos Legionary guys. You can create bolters and chainsaws with bolt pistol from the same sprue. Then I think there's real value in the Havocs sprue. That's the heavy weapon squad, basically. They're on 40mm bases already. The heavy gunner is an absolute no-brainer. You've got so many options there. A sniper, also a relatively easy conversion / proxy from the Havocs box. If you just kind of reposition the arms and the way they hold a gun, you're there. And then I would argue that the leader has the right loadout, while also looking just a little bit more obviously a character than a regular Marine that you might get in the Legionary box. Bang for your cuck, as they say. Also, minor note to Grey Knights as well as another Marine team you could run them as. Now, thematically, you don't really have psychic powers in this team, and the current Grey Knight kits are going to struggle, so it would be much more of a case of like buying other better models, sticking Grey Knight bits on top, and it'll be a huge project, but I like Grey Knights, so somebody else wants to do that, go for it. Right, anyway, let's move on to some more out there proxies. Marines are cool, but you know what is more cool? Anything else at all? I mean, okay, not by the popular vote, but by by me. Anyway, super soldiers are still cool though, but sometimes I want to roleplay a human or something. I don't know. So I just want to point out that Guard or Xenos proxies are possible. You don't have to just do Marines. You know, just off the top of my head, there are 6 assassin models. If you wanted to just do that, that would be, you'd have to get a little bit funky with some of them to make it show as clearly being what it is from Strike Force Justian, but everybody's going to kind of understand thematically, oh yeah, assassins are Marines, I get you. But personally, I love APL3 teams. They just feel more fun to play the game as. But sometimes I want to roleplay a special forces team, or I'm commonly into like cyberpunk or fantasy or whatever. So I want to be a slightly more technological and sensible vibe, you know? So anyway, let's start with the Guard. And yes, every model will need to be rebased, that's a given, obviously. Although, when looking at other ranges, I do like to look at models with correct base sizes, just in case things kind of like magically line up. For Guard, that just means Ogryn. Now thematically that's cool, but actually Ogryn are kind of too big. There's way too much bulk, width and height, and no real way to shrink them. But if you're into that vibe and willing to fully embrace that you can only take a disadvantage from your proxies, the 40mm bases are Ogryn. The weapon options are there in those kits as well, the Ogryn and the Bullgrin and the Nork Dead Dog, right? Very simple to figure out. And then the rest of the models can be halflings, right? Make it an abhuman team. Smart. Too wacky maybe, I do understand, so let's have a quick rethink. A simple proxy would of course be Kasrkin. Thematically, this works if you want to run a cool Special Forces team with lots of different specialists. And the Kasrkin models already have the right equipment on the sprue. Just give the correct base sizes and increase their height a little bit. How do you do that? Good question. If you already have a Kasrkin team built out with a standard loadout, you can build this. Just blue tack your Kasrkin, which are on 28mm bases, onto 32mm bases and 40mm bases, and that's your proxy. You don't have to do anything more. They have the correct weapon loadouts. Pretty much. Yeah. Anyway, Gaunt's Ghosts. Obviously. It's a 6-model Guard team, which I'm still shooketh that they are not already having rules in Kill Team. Gaunt's Ghosts. Now, if you wanted, this team could just be played with 0 additional modelling. Again, increase base sizes, which minimum effort, blue tack to the correct size base if you already have these models and you're good to go. And also, they all kind of pretty much make sense. Gaunt is Justian, Sniper is Sniper, Gunner is Gunner, Pointing Guy is your Sergeant, of course. And then the last two is a little touch, you know, a little bit more ambiguous. So you might want to consider like an arm swap with another Guard kit to give one a grenade. That'd be easy. Easy way to tell them apart then. But I'd happily say the guy on the tree is the grenade, because obviously that's kind of providing obscuring because it's a piece of terrain, just like a smoke grenade does. And if you can swap the dagger for a las gun, kind of your gold. Then the final guy has a knife out, so he's obviously your assault intercessor. If you really wanted to swap that knife for a oddly held chainsword, you could do that too. Now, as mentioned, sometimes I vibe a slightly different aesthetic. So really, I'm just going to say literally any Necromunda gang. Necromunda models are great. They look cool, they have a very different aesthetic, very different vibe, very different theme, and in general, they all have the required mix of notably different weapons so that you can differentiate between the different specialists. If you really want to lean into that then you could kind of use one from each gang. So like the Heavy Intercessor is a Vansar, Assault Intercessor is an Orlok. Orlok? Oh, Goliath, right? Yeah. And your leader is Cal Jericho, obviously. Who else would it be? You get the idea. Okay, and final idea is, you know, Xenos, hashtag my favorites. I mean, just pick the faction you like and make it work. Orcs are hands down the easiest. Flash Git for the heavy, Sniper Boy for the sniper, regular Orc boys for everything else, the intercessors. One of the many war bosses or knobs for Justian. Necrons also have it pretty easy. Justian is an Overlord, Sniper is Deathmark, Heavy is Immortal, Assault Intercessor is Lich Guard, Regulars are Warriors. You get it. Okay, the Strike Force Justian is just a set of generic archetypes that are very easily filled with every different faction. Every faction can proxy this team, much like every faction can proxy Intercession, okay? They are generic models, close enough, to the point that there won't really be any confusion about what's what. I literally actually cannot think of a faction that couldn't make this team work with just straight up proxies, not even needing conversions, just the aforementioned base size and height change, even as wacky as Tyranids. Like, it's not a complicated team to proxy for any faction. Anyway, that's kind of it. That's the end of the video, and probably the final Strike Force Justian content for quite some time, if I had to guess. Make sure you've watched my unboxing, my tactical deep dive for beginners, and then my battle report on my other channel. And of course, if you're a patron, the unedited battle report. If you really want to see the difference between a 40-minute video edited and a 2 hours 15-minute video to see what got cut out, it's a little bit of a learning experience for other content creators out there perhaps. Or you're just dying for more unedited battle reports, maybe, I don't know. It's interesting to me, but yeah. If you made it this far anyway, I would like to thank you with a big square hello. You know, it's a square hello because a dash is a square move, and I'm about to dash.